Hello, welcome to the latest edition of Right Talk with Mike Lee. I apologize, first of all, my expected guest, J.T. Edwards, could not be here today because he had another more pressing engagement that he had to attend, and I recommend that he attend that engagement as opposed to my show. He will likely be here next week if that's possible. I have my good friend and sometimes sidekick, and now bald brother.
There we go.
Gabriel Nila with me today, and I want to discuss some things that occurred this weekend concerning the election of the new state chair for the Republican Party of Texas.
Yes.
And related matters related to black engagement, black outreach.
Yes.
It's the same thing that I wanted to discuss with J.T. Edwards, and I'm going to refer to an article a little bit that emerged. And it appears that it turned out to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Chairman Mechler resigned a couple of weeks ago, and just before his resignation, a story broke on Raging Elders Radio by Apostle. He calls himself Apostle Claver. I've never met him. I tried to call him on the phone one time. But he kind of predicted that Mechler was going to resign.
Right.
And Mechler's resignation was related to what J.T. Edwards had actually called him out. The article said that he called him out for being ineffective in growing the party through adding new black voters. Now, at the RPT, the Republican Party of Texas, I think R.W. Bray was responsible for black outreach and engagement.
Correct. Yes, he is.
And in that connection, I know it was his brainchild to create MLK Association, of which we have a local, our own Austin area's MLK Association. I think there are supposed to be branches in Houston, Dallas, and I think San Antonio. I don't know what's happened with those other units, right. But I know that we've been very active. We've incorporated, and we're a nonprofit, correct. And we've been doing quite a bit in the community. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That we had a kickoff meeting a couple of weeks ago on May 20th. You couldn't do it the 13th because it was Maria's birthday, right?
Yes, it was my wife's birthday on the 13th, so we had to take care of that first.
So what we're trying to do with the MLK Association is expand the number of black conservative voters. We believe that if you vote your values and you vote your conservative values, you'll probably end up voting Republican.
Correct.
But it's all about conservatism. At least it is with me. What happened was J.T. Edwards had sort of complained about black outreach and engagement at the state party level. And there was a meeting in Dallas in March that I didn't know about. And apparently at this meeting, R.W. Bray gave a report that wasn't well received by the then, so to speak, black elders, conservative elders.
Correct.
And Bray's report was, Mr. Edwards at that time expressed, at least his report, they said there was a lack of progress and honesty in that report. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, the only number referred to in that report, when it was asked, what's your number, where's the metrics, Mr. Edwards said there were none. Right. There was a number of 120 referred to somewhere in the report. And I think Mr. Bray had been on the job for 2 years, mm-hmm. and 120 extra black Republicans in 2 years is, I think, is a little bit wanting. At our kickoff gathering, we had what, about 15, 16 there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we put that together in a very short time. But I think Mr. Edwards had complained, at least it's reported in the article, that there was no data collected to determine how effective any efforts were for 2 years. And so now here we are, 2 years later, close to a convention with elections next year. And now there has to be an engagement program, outreach and engagement program for the black community put together at the state level rather quickly. And this is a large state.
Right.
Now, in your view, Gabe, what's an engagement look like at the state level?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Engagement should not just be a listening tour. Okay, when this whole thing went on, we kept on hearing that the state of Texas, the RPT group, was going on listening tours. They were listening to the community. Well, great, that's fine and dandy, but what are you doing to help out in the state? We talk about engagement, right? We're talking about making sure that we are doing work in the community. We are talking to those that are on the ground doing the stuff that's got to be done, or that are living day by day, paycheck by paycheck. Listening to them and just saying, "Hey, this is great. We're going to go ahead and take some pretty pictures," is not engagement. All you're doing is just putting your ear. You're just putting your ear out there to see what's happening. It's actually working, doing stuff in the community, trying to see where you can fit in with other nonprofits or other organizations, so that you can let people know that if there's a conversation about views and perceptions and values, that you can go ahead and throw in your 2 cents worth, so that people are hearing a different story and a different conversation than what they're normally used to hearing day in and day out.
Now, my stock saying, and I say this almost every show, I believe that what is good for the black community is good for the community as a whole. I just believe that.
Right.
And when I think of engagement, first of all, I think of the word outreach. Outreach means you go somewhere different.
Right.
And in my view, the party of which of my choice, which is the Republican Party, if we want to get different results, we have to do something different. Mm-hmm. We can't just go around shaking hands of our friends and people that we already know.
Right.
We have to go out and engage the enemy, so to speak.
Right, exactly.
And in many respects, in what I've done as outreach and engagement director in Travis County is I've gone places, and I took James Dickey and I have gone to Victory Road. We've gone into places where they say, "What the hell are you doing here?" Mm-hmm. But we show up. The main thing is to show up.
Exactly.
And really say what you're about and show that you care. Sometimes they don't know that you care unless you show that you care. And one of the ways of showing that you care is by simply showing up. Mm-hmm. And showing that you don't have horns, that you don't hate people. And so what we've done is we've got involved in a lot of community activities and projects and things and let people see us and get to know us.
Sure.
For many people that I've met, I'm the only black Republican that they know.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's
true.
It's
yeah, if that was the case, I mean, you've been in some boards or on some talking panels or panels where they're talking about what's going on in the community, and you're the only black Republican in there. Yeah, you're right.
I hadn't had any fights yet, but
yeah,
I stay in pretty good shape. I'm ready for that too. No, but what I think is important is that we show who and what we are and say what, and let us say what we're about, not let someone else say who we are. Mm-hmm. And for too long, I believe that we as conservatives have conceded the talking territory to the loud, so-called tolerant people who have no morals.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I believe that that is what needs to change. That's something that we can change. That's something we have to do. Mm-hmm. It's not something someone else can do. We have to do it, and we have to make a commitment to do it. Now, I don't know. I had some questions that were submitted to me. Said, in my opinion, what would successful black engagement look like from the RPT? That's at the state level. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, if we're going to build, you build on what you already have. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that there were challenges in getting information as to what we already have from the RPT.
Correct. And
as a matter of fact, someone told me that a representative of the RPT said they don't believe in lists.
Right. They also don't believe in giving out much when it comes to help.
You know, it's been a challenge to. Now I go up to the RPT anytime I get ready, mm-hmm. and they're cordial and all that, And one of the challenges that we have as a party is that we have factions that say, well, you're welcome, come on in. It's not enough to be welcoming when you got a 50-year deficit that you got to make up. You got to do something affirmative. Now, I'm not an affirmative action fan because I believe in competence, I believe in excellence. And if someone is excellent at something, many of the rest of the things will take care of themselves. As a matter of fact, when I went to SMU's law school, they just plainly stated they don't have an affirmative action program, but if you're otherwise qualified and happen to be black, then we'll pay your tuition. That was the deal.
Right.
And that was okay with me because I'm not asking any favors. Many people feel like, well, people Caucasian have a head start. They have the head start. No, well, hey, it is what it is. My thing is, let the game start, and I'll do whatever I have to do. You can't start out thinking I'm behind, I can't catch up. You got to start out believing in yourself.
Right.
With me, everything comes down to God. What happens on this side of the dirt is between what I do and what God wants. Not some guy across the street who happens to be white. It's on me. And unless you take some responsibility yourself to change your situation, you may be helpless to change your situation. That's something I'm just not willing to concede that.
Understood.
Because I feel like I'm the descendant of people who built pyramids. And they still can't figure out, they're still saying some guys came from outer space and did it.
Yeah, no, I hear in that part, but it's I think during that time there was some great technology, and we had to start back from zero on that end. And then it's kind of where we're sitting at right now. For us as a party, we're starting off at zero, so we can make sure that we can get to where we need to go.
And here's what disturbed me most about this state chair replacement election.
Yes.
Was I read that there's an email string that was published. And in that email string, it says it involves JT and the chairman of Mechler, and I think James White is mentioned, Bill Calhoun is mentioned. And one of the things that Mechler said to JT was this. I'm gonna read it. This is from the email string that I think JT sent to the guy at Raging Elephants, Apostle Claver. Says, I don't want there to be any confusion. R.W. Bray is doing an extraordinary job, is proceeding in the exact manner I've asked him to, and he has my complete confidence. It's unfortunate that you have chosen to be the one that persists in tearing down instead of building up. We have made significant progress in the area of RPT, black engagement, and we continue to do so under Bray's leadership. Now, the reason that concerned me so much is because the so-called, I'll say for discussion's sake, black elders that gathered in Dallas, some of whom couldn't be there attended by telephonically, they were of a completely different opinion, which means there's a disconnect somewhere.
Right.
And, and that disconnect has, from the email string, the other information I have, said that they had verified that in 2 years that the only number mentioned has been 120 black voters that are members of the MLK Association. And if Mr. Bray was proceeding in exactly the manner that the chairman wanted, the chairman was actually running the program.
Yep. So what is it showing? What is it showing right there? He didn't care. He didn't care. You know why? Because those people, those 120 people, were probably individuals that had money. And when it comes to the state, this is what I learned a while back. When it comes to the state, all they're caring about is raising money. At least under the Melcher or Mechler regime, they wanted to raise money. They wanted to make sure that they had the funds to take care of what they had to take care of, do what they got to do, and all that fun stuff. But when it came down to everybody else, they didn't care. They didn't care at all. All they're doing is just sending out emails saying, hey, we got to do this, we got to do this. Okay, what are you doing to help us out? I mean, you and I talked about this before, where we asked for help, and I had Mechler send me an email back saying, "Where's my money?" That's all he did. That's all he did, and it was like, really, you're going to be asking that when we're asking for help to make some significant changes in East Austin based on what you and I were seeing.
Yeah.
And his answer, "Where's my money?" It's like, no. It's not "Where's my money?" It's saying, "Where can we help?" But they didn't care. They didn't care. Why? Because that area, East Austin, is not very rich. It's not a very rich area, which means that they don't have a lot of money to give. And as far as I can tell with Mechler, is that when it came down to the bottom line, all he was seeing was green, not votes. And not an investment on being able to get those votes. His investment was saying, "Where's my money?" That's all it was.
Well, in my view, we have to invest, some time and effort has to be invested in order to reap the benefits.
Exactly.
Especially where someone has been bad-mouthing you for 50 years. I mean, for the most part, as far as I'm concerned, I almost see 90% of African Americans are brainwashed. For real. And will get angry with you because you have a different point of view.
Right.
Call you sellout, traitor, all that, Uncle Tom, all that good stuff. But they stopped that ever since Don King endorsed Trump.
And you know, when you got Don King supporting another person, you know it's magic, right? And I'm like, which was kind of funny. It was just the fact that as soon as that happened, you're right, it did stop, and people like, hell, look at Steve Harvey.
Right.
What did he do? He went over there to go talk to Trump, and all of a sudden
Everybody got mad at him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So what else are they asking you, sir?
Oh, they asked. Well, the challenge now is to do black outreach and engagement at the RPT level. It's kind of on James's plate right now. And we got 2 years in the hole. I don't know how or whether that can be made up.
It's
a big old state.
You're not going to. You're not going to be able to do it right away. It's going to take a little bit of time. But here's the thing. You get the right people that are willing to go ahead and do the work. If you do the work, it's going to get done. Now, is it going to be done in 6 months? Probably not. Is it going to get done within 10? No, but you're going to make some significant headway of what was expected. And obviously, we don't know what the goal was.
So in your view, we need to look at election 2018 as a outer deadline.
Right. 2018 is not going to be the actual deadline. We're not going to be able to use that as a true metric. We can use it as a guide to be able to say, okay, we've got everything rolls around the state convention, which is going to be done in about 11 months. Everything will be said and done during that time. So what I would say is this. You go into 2018, into May with the state convention, you say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is where we are. Now, between then, within the 11 months, you can have quarterly reports, you can have whatever you need to do, and be able to say, okay, these are the advancements that we've done next. This is what we're doing over here. This is the people that we're meeting. You can go ahead and put that information down in writing and be able to show them where the engagement is. Now, you won't be able to see any numbers, any true numbers, until March of 2018, when you can actually say, okay, we've got this primary over here. We've had these primaries, and this is the increase that we've seen in these areas. We can go into the precincts and say, okay, this is what we're seeing here now. Yeah. You can gauge it then.
Now here's
but you have to start now, or you have to start engaging in those areas.
Here's what I think, Gabe.
Now, and then move it into December.
Now I got a call. I did a show. Was it 2-3 weeks ago? Where we kind of were prophetic about what we were talking. We were talking about the RPT and challenges in dealing with them, and then this resignation came, right?
Right.
Like we were Kreskin or somebody, and so now this is June. So you're talking next March, May.
Before you can actually see true responses, Here's what you do. Here are the measurements that you're going to have to look at. At least from my point of view, James, if you want to use these, by all means. If you want to use these, Bray, if you're still with us, JT, use them however you guys want to. Here's my view on what we need to do. So we start from point zero. Now is point zero. Why? Because we have a new chairman. Okay, and we start getting involved, and we start working in there. What do we do? How do we measure stuff? Okay, here's how we measure. Here's how we measure. We look at the areas that are heavily Democrat in the precincts. Some of us can get that information. Now, the RPT won't give us that information because they don't want to.
Historically, before now, they haven't. They won't.
Right, and we probably
Why? I don't know.
And we probably because they're proprietary. They like to keep their information as best as possible.
How's that expand things?
It doesn't. It doesn't. You know what it does? It keeps all that information close to the vest, so that when they say, "Well, you failed," well, we thought so.
Well, let me tell you something at the MLK level.
Okay.
We had a kickoff 2 weeks ago on the 20th.
Yeah.
Now, RW told me there were some people interested in joining.
Yeah. Guess where they're at?
But I didn't see them.
They're not here. They're not around. You know why?
Was it a secret?
It probably is. You know why? Because he wants it's state level. Okay. So here's what happens. So here's what we do now. You start moving into those areas. You identify the areas that are heavily Democrat. You identify the areas that may be predominantly black or African American. When we say black, we're talking about diaspora. We're talking about those that are eligible to vote, to do it, to take care of the stuff that has to be taken care of there. But you go into those communities. You go into those precincts and you start talking. You start talking to precinct chairs. You start having an event here or there, coffee, whatever the case may be. Okay, go to the barbershops. Okay, anything minute where you can get some engagement in there. Then in those areas, you find out where the schools are at, and you start registering those individuals that are ready to vote.
Right.
Okay,
right.
and you start doing that at the beginning of the school year. Okay,
Right.
you start doing that in August, September. You start getting that information. Okay, they're eligible to vote. Great, we're going to go ahead and register you to vote now. Why are we doing this right now? Because we don't want anybody else to register you. We want to be able to help you out right now.
Right.
Okay, we don't wait till March.
Right.
Okay,
We start registering voters right now.
exactly.
That's what we need to do,
You start
right?
yeah, exactly.
Now, Gabe.
Now from there, here's what you do. You got the information from those individuals, okay? You start talking to those in those areas about those candidates that are going to be running. Whether they're, they can be independent, they're Republican, but they're conservative, and you start identifying those conservatives that will be able to make a change in those communities. You don't talk about Abbott. You
Right.
don't talk about Dan Patrick. Okay? You talk about the local people that are running. And you
Right.
say, this is what we believe in. This is what we think is going to be going on. And you go to those meetings. You go to those events. You create an event.
You be at the community.
Yeah.
You have to get
You
in
have
the
to be
community.
engaged in the community. You have to be in there and be able to do that part.
Right.
Okay? And when I mean you, it can be anybody else that's watching. It can be you or I, you and I, or whatever the case may be. But you start measuring there, okay? And you start watching those individuals that you're talking to.
Well, here's my question, Gabe. Let's just take the example of the kickoff meeting. Yeah, I'm told there's some people who are interested in joining. They aren't there.
Right.
I'm looking for troops,
Right.
right? And we're supposed to be on the same squad looking for troops, trying to get something done.
Right.
How does it help what we're trying to get done for you not to tell me who can help us?
It doesn't.
Who
It
troops
doesn't.
are?
It doesn't help whatsoever. So you know what you do? You move on. Here's what we do. Okay, you move on. If he says, I got people that are willing to join, great. You know what? Guess what? Bring them over. If you don't want to bring them over, we'll find them. You know how we're going to find them? Social media. You promote. You start talking about what you're doing. You start saying on the pages that you manage, and you share them out anywhere you can that will let you do it, and they're seeing what you're doing. And they're saying, hey, oh, they got this event going on over here. Oh, they're doing something over there. And they start seeing it, okay? They start visualizing what's going on. And you know what happens?
So guys, what's happening, Gabe, is we're doing stuff.
Right.
Like right now, we need speakers for Manor.
Right.
Needs 2 speakers. It's 2 speakers that we need. And I'm having the Juneteenth representatives for Austin on my show next week.
Right.
Because I believe one of the visions I had for the show was as a tool for the community, as a tool to reach into the community and join parts of the community together that are not in touch with each other, so to speak.
Right.
for example, the other day, there's a guy I met who's doing some outreach of his own in the Dallas area. He has an organization similar to Man and Me. And so I kind of introduced those guys to each other because I thought it'd be good for them to talk to each other since they're doing the same
Right.
thing. They might be able to leverage funds or leverage knowledge or whatever. And to me, it's about bringing people together and getting together and getting things done that benefit people.
Right.
Because it comes down to helping people, or at least
Exactly.
convincing them that you want to help them.
Right.
Whether you actually do so, that's a different question. But convince people that's your sincere desire. And I really question whether, I did question up until Saturday, whether or not the RPT wanted engagement. Because if you wanted to increase, if you wanted successful engagement, you wouldn't be withholding information.
Right.
It
Exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And it gets to that point where you just say, look, I'm either going to work with you or I'm not going to work with you. But you know what? Here I am. When you need me, call me. If you want to see what we're doing, just follow us. And that's the point where we're at right now.
One thing,
Okay.
what we're doing and what we're engaged with in Waco, in anywhere, anywhere here, Waco, the guy got shot 9 times here, is we're trying to build relationships.
Right.
And you don't build relationships in secret. They're done by interacting with people.
True. That is true.
And there's more than listening. You might want to talk to them every now and then.
Exactly.
You might want to.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that we won't get that from the state. At least we wouldn't have gone in the state had James not won. If James had lost, we would have been in the same discussion right now, talking about the problems that we're having with the state level, the MLK Association.
Well,
and we would be saying, okay, what do we do? Do we stay here or do we go?
Well, at the gathering Thursday up in at Round Rock, with the candles with James and Figueroa over there, Figueroa said Bray was doing a great job. Really? I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, they were saying that at the meeting on Saturday.
Do you really know what's going on?
Oh, of course not. No, here's the thing with the reason why they're saying this. Now we're saying what we're talking about right now, ladies and gentlemen, is what our perception of what we're seeing of what's not happening. Okay, and I want to clarify this part because that way, in case anybody's thinking that we're just picking on one person, we're not. We're bringing up some of the faults that are happening, but we're looking at the bigger picture when it comes to what's happening with the people that hold the purse strings and that are controlling, that are being the puppet
Right.
masters on this whole thing. Yeah, they're saying they got to say that he's doing a great job because they can't say that. They can't say, look, he's screwing up, he's failing, he's messing up, because you know what that means? It means that the party itself at the state level is failing. They can't put that. They can't put that out there. We can talk about our failures. We can talk about our failures of what we did wrong at events. You know why? Because we can. We're man enough. We're tough enough. We're strong enough to be able to do that part. The problem that comes up at the state level is that if they say, "Oh, we didn't do this part," well, it means that they're not strong enough in that end. And guess what happens? Someone else takes advantage of it. You have another party coming in and say, "Don't worry about it, guys. We'll take care of you guys over here." So when you have someone like Rick who says they're doing a great job, you have someone like Tom saying, "Oh yeah, they're doing a great job." You have these other county chairmen that don't know what's going on, saying, "Oh yeah, this guy's doing a great job." Well, they don't know, and the reason why they don't know is because they don't want to admit that there's a failure, and that there's a problem that's going on. And this is going to bite us later on, I can tell you, or to some degree. But you know what? Right now, for me, I can say this part because I really don't care. I'm not going to worry about whether or not that someone at the state level, whether someone else is going to say, "Oh, well, he's doing it wrong." Well, no. The reason why he's saying this, we're going to get him in trouble with the party because this is happening. Guess what? I'm not worried about it. What are they going to do? Go ahead and kick me out? Guess what? I'm still going to vote for a Republican no matter what. I'll vote for someone else that's qualified as well if I need to. But when it comes to them helping and them not helping, you know what's going to happen? It's going to come back to the same old saying, guess what? We kind of like you, we kind of agree with what you're doing, but we don't like you, so we're not going to help you. Okay? Which would have happened had Rick won. It would have been that same old. And right now, I'm just saying, I'm very glad and I'm very happy that James is now our new GOP state chairman, because times are changing. Times are changing. We are
Well,
going to actually see the big stuff, the bigger stuff happen.
I think that we'll actually see some positive activity toward growth.
Right.
And I don't think the same old stuff is the thing to do if you really want growth.
Exactly. Exactly. We won't get the stuff, the movements that we need if Rick was there. And I believe what I said about how they pushed him. I believe that it was wrong the way they try to justify the changes that are happening at the state level, or at the state, when it comes to the diversity, by throwing in somebody that has no experience and no understanding of what's happening at the ground floor, because all they're doing is just saying, hey, shake my hand, let's go and take a pretty picture. Oh, by the way, did you know I went to go see Trump? Did you know I was at his office? Did you know we took pretty pictures? They ain't gonna get anywhere from there. Okay? All you're gonna get is some guy that says, hey, that's really nice that you went over there, but what are you gonna do for me? And you know what, when they ask him, what are you gonna do for me? He's gonna be like, I'm here listening.
I'm starting to laugh when I hear people talk about Trump, you know? Because when he was coming down the escalator, I put $100 on him. I'm still trying to collect my money.
And that person hasn't paid?
No, he hasn't paid yet.
It wasn't Robert, was it?
No. I want my money, but I still want my money. I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And when I was on CNN, when CNN came here for the Trump, they had a speech watch when Trump was here for the rally. I rounded up Richard and Robert Muhammad and Chad and Chaz and about 20 other people. We had a speech watch at the hotel. And I said right on TV, I said, I don't care what Trump or any other white man says. Someone said, I should say any other man. You know, I'm about the most politically incorrect guy you ever meet. I said, I don't care what Trump or any other white man says. I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And I just don't want people putting things in my way. Just let me be all I can be. Let me and the man that's there do whatever we going to do.
Right.
And that's it. I don't want you to do anything for me. Just stay out my way.
Right.
And I'll take care of what I can take care of.
Yeah.
But this stuff about ensuring that I'm going to be successful, feel good, be happy with myself, that's bull. That's bull. But people don't believe as I believe. Now, to me, this whole mess with Mechler resigning and this outreach mess, I got a call a couple weeks ago. We had the show Monday night. I had a call. It was either that Monday or the next Tuesday. And it was as though the governor was doing something, wanted to do something in terms of outreach. It was like the governor had no business doing that. And I'm thinking, that's crazy. You know, I'm thinking, if the governor is doing that, he's doing that for a reason.
Right.
He's seeing he has some inkling of what's going on or what's not going on, and he wants to win.
Right.
And
Exactly.
he's doing what he wants to do, what he has to do to win.
Yeah.
And if he's doing something in outreach and engaging the black community, and he wants to win, we're on the same. We're going to trying to go to the same place.
Right. Exactly.
So that should be a collaborative effort. It's not get out and get what do you do. It was almost like, what is he doing outreach? What? He's trying to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't you trying to win?
Exactly.
What's up with that?
Oh, because it's all proprietary. Everything that goes on is proprietary. They want their piece of the pie, and they don't want to give up anything, whether they like a Republican or not. They
Well,
want
damn
their
it,
piece of
do
the pie.
something.
Yeah, but they're not going to. You know why? Because they like the status quo. The Mechler regime wanted the status quo, and they're arguing the national level stuff as opposed to local stuff, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I think even at the national level, I would dare say, now Trump is, I think, going to be very beneficial in terms of seeing improvements in all communities, in the black community in particular. He and Hillary, he was the only one that spoke about bad schools, family problems. We're talking about doing something about the inner city.
Right.
She's talking about, I'm most qualified, I'm a woman. I don't like give a damn.
Yeah. But here's what he has to start doing now. He needs to start producing.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna have to start producing because we are. I shouldn't say we, but candidates are relying on his work.
Right.
And if he's not producing, you're not gonna get much movement. You're not going to get much movement, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to get some people that are very disillusioned in the minority communities about that. They're going to say, "Well, we went to you, we talked to you, you didn't do anything." Look what happened with Obama in 2000. Oh my God, 2010. Okay, they went asking for help. What happened? Nothing. Minorities the black community went to Obama saying, "Where are we going to get the help?"
Only if you were male and take it up to shoot. You got everything.
Right. And then then you had 2014. Where's the help? Ain't getting it. Sorry. That type of thing. So it's one of those things where they're like, okay, 2 more years. Give us a little bit more time. Give us a little bit more time. No, the time is now. You're going to have to start acting. You can say, yeah, we'll go and talk to you. We're going to do that. But if you don't do any action, you're at the national level.
It's what you do.
It's going to be nothing more than a listening tour.
It's not what you say. It's what you do.
Exactly. And he's going to have to act. And those individuals that are running for office at the national level are going to have to act.
They're going to pay.
They're going to pay. And they better start acting now.
Now, you know what? I didn't know about this listening to a business till I was doing some reading a couple of weeks ago. And something was happening. I think the then chairman was in San Antonio on listening to it. I'm thinking, what the? Listening to it. That's engagement? Listening?
To them it was. Yeah. We had the Hispanic outreach person.
What you gonna do?
They're not gonna do anything. They're not gonna do anything. They don't care.
You're gonna listen.
You're gonna listen, and that's all it is. You know, it's just one of those things where they, like I said, they don't care. They don't care. You know, them saying I'm going to listen to you doesn't really mean much. Okay. There's a difference between saying,
and that's very condescending. I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
You ain't God.
Right. And the thing is that they're not. Them saying we'll listen to what's going on, but not following up with action, is nothing. It's nothing. We're not, you know. Case in point, we were part of an event here in Austin with Counterbalance ATX, very progressive or very liberal on the verge of progressive group. We know the people individually. I know the individuals very well that are a part of it. It's a spinoff from the Austin Justice Coalition. Okay. We went to go help. Okay. We didn't stand there and say, "I'm listening to your concerns. What's going on?" No. You know what we did? As members of the Austin Area MLK Association, you know what we did? We walked up and said, "Where do you need us to help? What's going on?" Okay. They were delivering food to an apartment complex. It's a yearly thing that they do. Okay. I had a choice to represent the Austin MLK Association cleaning up a cemetery in Pflugerville, which is a historically black cemetery,
Right.
or providing food or providing sustenance or helping in providing substance. I don't want to say I was providing, but in helping, providing substance to people that are living. I chose the living. I told my wife, I said, I choose the living. I go, I can go cut the grass. I can go cut that grass and go and make that cemetery look a lot nicer. But here's the thing. This person's alive, needs help right now. And if we get them healthy food, we give them something that is going to provide them something better than what they're getting because the convenience stores don't have squat and it's free, I'm going to go ahead and help that person out. You know why? Because it's going to provide them moving forward.
Gabe, I think what comes across in all of what we're saying is engagement has to be interactive.
Correct. It has to be interaction. It has to be interactive. Saying, I'm listening to you is nothing. You know what that means? You're standing up in your ivory tower saying, I'm here. Okay, that's a Hillary move.
Big whoop.
Yeah, that's a Hillary move right there. Okay, that is an absolute Hillary move, and saying, I can hear you. I can hear you over here. Well, guess what? Great. I can hear myself talk also. I can hear myself talk all day long, and guess what? If I don't do any action,
I couldn't believe when I read it.
I'm just going to have a sore throat.
He said the chair was in San Antonio on a listening tour.
And taking pretty pictures, which you can find on Twitter. You can find it on Twitter with the chairman, with Tom and Rick and God knows who else. But they ain't doing anything. That doesn't mean squat. It means nothing. Okay, you're going into saying, okay, what can we do to help out? Where do we go? Here, by the way, let me help you out by carrying this stuff over here to this apartment complex. Where can we sit down and talk about what's the next phase and where we can go ahead and lend our support? That's engagement. That's engagement. That's more than listening. That is just saying, we care because of what's going on. We care about your cause. We care that you are doing something positive, and we want to be able to help you out, whether it is standing there with you, standing or carrying food to someone else, or saying, here you go, you might, if you got some free food here, if you're not interested, great, no problem.
Now, I'll tell you something that happened a few weeks ago. I mentioned it on the last show. Was when I went up to Waco to protest. They got pictures of me holding the sign and everything. But what happened was Chaz from Austin Justice Coalition called me and told me about what happened with this little girl up there. And I was really, really kind of flattered that he called it, because it's usually the kind of thing the NAACP does, right? I said, well, let's call Nels from the NAACP. Let's call KT from African Resource Advisory Commission. Let's make it a thing, you know? But the fact that he would call, you know, and everyone knows I'm a Republican because I don't hide it.
Right.
Because I'm really trying to promote the party. If I had to take those slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or whatever. But, you know, and I asked Chaz, I said, man, I'm not a leader, man. Why you call me? He just said, I want you there. And so it turns out, you know, the lawyer for Cowboys and I, you know, we're both lawyers. We can talk shop, right?
Right.
We're talking shop while things are going on. But then I have my sunglasses. Next thing I know, he got his sunglasses on. We're out there. We're doing things, but it's the right thing. It's the kind of thing we need to be associated with as a party.
Right.
If I had to be the one-man gang, damn it, I'll be the one-man gang.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll do what I got to do.
Exactly.
You know how I am, Gabe. Something's kind of wrong with me. I'll go anywhere and do anything.
Right. Well,
If it's the right thing.
So long as it's legal.
If it's the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, helping folks get up is always the right thing. It's never a wrong time to do the right thing.
True.
I used to write a lot on this show. I guess that's just a happenstance, huh?
That is so true. But it's one of those things that listening tours will not do. Okay? I made that comment perfectly clear to the Hispanic Outreach Director from the RPT this past Saturday. And we talked briefly, you know, she was introduced to my wife. I'm my wife's administrative assistant for her position. And so I kind of help out with setting up appointments and whatnot. But what happened is that they said, oh yeah, they're like, where have you been? And they asked for, talking about listening tours. They talked about doing these other things, and it's like, and what happened is that they, when they said, oh, this is great stuff, we can go ahead and we've been having these great listening tours. I'm like, what are you listening to? You ain't listening to squat. You ain't doing anything.
But if you listen, you got to do something.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And if you're not doing anything, if you're not doing anything, you're not doing anything at all. And just listening is nothing. Okay? Listening is basically us going blah, 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 wah, 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 wah. And that's all it is. That's all as a person who's on a listening tour is going to hear. They don't care. They don't care what's happening.
Well, my thing is that we need to get into action.
Yeah.
And listening is not action.
Correct. Correct. And that's where
If
we
after
are.
you listen, you don't undertake to do something, that's bull.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not going to do anything. Being able to say that, or being able to say the listening tour is going to be effective, it's not. You have to, like you said, you have to respond with action before it's actually viable.
Listening doesn't change outcomes.
Correct. Correct. People may think that because I will put it to this way. So I was at a meeting months ago, actually almost a year ago, with it was I forgot the name of the group, but it was a Latino group that talked about how to engage with the community. Okay. And some people said, well, so long as they tell us, we're here and we want you to vote for us, that's enough for us to go out and act. But the reality of the situation is that that's not enough to go out and act. Okay. When I ran, I had people tell me, well, you speak Spanish, we'll go out and vote for you. I said, no, you don't do that. You vote because what I believe is right. You vote because of what I want to do is the right thing to do. You don't vote just because of the same color. You don't vote because of the last name. You don't vote because they look like you or they sound like you. It doesn't work. That's not true engagement. That's not true or a true way for us to be able to say we want to help you out, because you should hear us out why we want to help you. Okay, and I got a little upset when I had people tell me that. They're like, "We'll vote for you because you're brown just like me." I'm like, okay, that doesn't work though. Let me tell you why you should vote for me. Let me show you why I'm better than the other person. And after a while, you spend a little bit more time talking to them, and be able to say, yeah, okay, they understood, and they're like, yeah, I get it, and I will work with you, I will help you out, and do whatever. But that's where the engagement comes in. Just being able to say, well, I'm hearing it, yeah, it doesn't work.
I think if we build bonds based on our beliefs and our values, that'll last longer than some emotional crap.
Exactly.
And what we should be about are trying to build relationships that will last, that will stand the test of time, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to show it.
Right.
In order to show the results. Okay. But 120 people is not the answer. It's not the answer.
But it's building relationships and making connections. And what I believe, Gabe, is if we take the givens, it's like geometry. You have your proofs and your theorems. You have certain givens, and you go from there. We take the givens that we have, try to build on those. Find out who their friends are, who their connections are, what their social relationships are, and try to tap into those relationships and situations.
Right.
That's how we build. We don't build by...
Exactly. And that's why I told you, it's going to take a little bit of time in order to happen, in order for the true metrics to be read. Okay? It's going to take a little bit of time, but it has to start now. It has to start now where the engagement actually has to start hitting, and people that are wanting to do the right thing to promote the engagement and to provide true numbers or better numbers than what they had. You have to start now, and you have to start working it in there and just say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. Here's the next phase. This is what's going to happen next. And then you start building that spreadsheet, if you will.
But we got to recruit some manpower.
Right, you're right. Okay, and it's gonna, and here's what I'm gonna say. It's not gonna be with RW, because he refused to provide the information. As members of the Austin Area MLK Association, it's not gonna be from the top. The top has already told us, yeah, we'll help you. We're going to pat you on the head because you're both bald. We're going to pat you on the head and then we'll walk away. No, they're not. They're going to say, okay, good, that's great. But they're not going to provide the information. It's going to have to be up to people like us in Austin, people like the ones in Houston, in Dallas, San Antonio, that are going to have to start walking in there and just saying, okay, here we are. Let's get some information from you. What can you do to help us out? We're going to work with you guys, but is this person able to help us out? Let's collaborate on something. Let's help you on this. Let's help you engage in this here. And oh, by the way, I may want to talk to this person over here.
You see, Gabe, you said something to me one day. I had to talk to my baby brother who's retired Air Force. He said something about tip of the spear. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
So I said, I told my baby brother, I said, this guy said this. I said, what's that? He told me, right? And so what we're doing now is I'm trying to get a group of folks who can kind of be ambassadors, who can explain what I value, who can explain the stuff that we believe in.
Right. We don't want ambassadors. You know why?
Why?
Rick Figueroa wanted to be an ambassador.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, he wanted to be the connection. No, we are the friends. We are the allies. Okay, we're gonna. Our goal is to bring people in,
Right.
who are friends and allies of a common goal, and our goal is to be able to move over here, go talk over there, and say, okay, here we are. Let's go ahead and be the tips.
But we're like special forces.
Well, yeah, that too,
You
that too. But here's the person that's going to be the end all and be all when it comes to the recognition. It's going to be the guy at the top.
It's not about
but
you.
It's not. It's going to be the guy at the top. But the guy at the top is not an ambassador. We're
Right,
not going to be
right.
we cannot be the ambassadors.
No.
And the thing is that an ambassador has no power. All he's doing is saying, hey, by the way, go talk to these guys. They're okay. No. We're going to go in. We have to go in there. We're the engagement. We're the activists that are going in there and saying, we need to talk. Let's sit down and talk about what's going on. Whether it is a direct saying, hey, I want to talk to you, or just saying, hi, by the way, my name is Gabriel. How are you? I'm the Vice President of the Austin Area MLK Association. I'm a teacher. I do this. I do that. Really, let's go and talk a little bit more. What do you do? And then that's the engagement that we have
Right.
to do. But ambassadors don't know. No, because ambassadors don't do squat.
You need troops, huh?
We need troops. We're going to be the ones that are going in. Like we talked about the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear is the one that says, we need to go in here. I'm going to poke right in here, and guess what? Everybody else is going to start flying in. Okay? Yeah. Right now, that's what I told you. That's what I told you last year. You were the tip of the spear because you are seeing where we need to go in, and we go in. And we start spreading that wound wide open, and we start saying, guess what? We're right here, and we're going to be infecting you. And we're going to be infecting you with the truth.
I didn't start to understand that until we were, one Friday night we were at the Carver, it was you, me, Isom, Mara. I don't know if Joe Martinez was with us.
No.
We kind of had a little crew, you know?
Right.
It just,
Right. And we went in, and we engaged. We spoke, and we started talking to people. They may have not liked what we had to say,
right.
but they heard it, and they were infected, but with the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, they were told the truth of what's going on, and when it comes time for us to do that part, yeah, you and I, guess what's going to happen? You and I are not only going to be the tip, but we're also going to be the infection, and we're going to be the ones going in there and taking care, and we're going to be spreading the truth of what's happening and what we can do to help out in those different areas. That's basically what's going to happen.
Just trying to get it
Until we-
right.
And until we start getting it right and getting other people
just trying to get
involved,
it- just
we're
trying
going
to
to
get it
start.
right.
We're going to start doing. That's the goal right now.
Just trying to
It's
get it
not
right.
120 people. We can generate 120 people in 3 months. You and I alone can get 120 people and identify 120 people in 3 months.
Because we go to AJC meetings, we go everywhere. You know,
You go.
we go anywhere.
You go wherever, or we go wherever we need to go, and we talk to people, okay, and we identify. And by identifying, that's a number. The continuation is going to start meaning they're going to start making those changes and those philosophical.
So you're saying you and I have made more headway here in the county and he's done 2 years for the state?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I will say that, yes. Okay. And people may not like it, but you know what? It's the truth. Okay. It is the truth. People may not say that. People may tell us, well, that's kind of
I know
that's
you.
a lot of bravado.
I
No,
know
that's not
you got at
bravado.
least one more vote that you wouldn't have got 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's that whole thing.
I bet you at least 50 of hymns out there.
Yeah. Exactly.
I bet you.
And it's just a matter of finding them, talking to them, and doing the right talk
Right.
to go ahead
Just tell the
and
truth.
start
Just tell the
start making those changes.
Just tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. You tell the truth, and people will identify and know, and see. Hey, by the way, this is something we need to do.
Well, I'm just about out of time here. It's been wonderful speaking with you, Gabe, as always.
Same here. It's always been a pleasure.
This might end up being a meeting of some type. This might end up in some minutes somewhere. 'Cause I believe
We'll probably have that tomorrow.
I should leave putting in the work, man.
Yeah.
So,
We'll probably hear that tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned before, we're going to have a meeting and
yep.
a new meeting of the minds, I guess, if you will, and we're going to see what happens.
The other MLK is supposed to be on a teleconference. So I guess I'll go ahead and do it. I'll tell you something about that until we off the air. But I may have to do that. I was inclined not to personally, not just to be behind really.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to you knuckleheads.
But there's. I think the next time we talk, we'll be able to say, hey, you want to hear about engagement? This is engagement.
Let's see. My next show will be Lee Dawson and Tammy Johnson from the Greater East Austin Youth Association, the oldest nonprofit in East Austin, and the primary movers behind the Juneteenth parade and celebration.
Phenomenal people. I met with them.
So we got GYA, and then you and I have to do Maynard, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It'll be beautiful. It will be fun.
That's what we do. We do stuff in the community. That's what we're about, the community.
Yep. It's about
Because
engagement.
what's good for the black community is good for the community. Don't forget that. That's me. Check it out.
I almost bought one of those hats. I almost did. I'm serious. I almost bought one of those, but I couldn't find the right one.
There's a place up. Are we up there yet?
Oh no, we still got a couple minutes.
We do?
Yeah.
Put the daggone thing in front of me.
Yeah, we got about a minute and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So where'd you get the hat?
There's a place up off Springdale. I don't even know the name of the street, but that's where they had them.
Okay.
It's here in Austin.
Nice.
I got this. My best friend is he was laid to rest with this hat, like when it can't go backwards like this. Yeah, I didn't even know he was wearing his hat like that. But I guess if they've been friends for almost 60 years, I guess that's what happened. You end up doing crazy stuff that doing the same thing that I was doing.
Understood.
Without knowing.
Understood.
But that's my boy.
Very cool. Very cool. But we will be taking care of stuff that we have to take care of, and we will make sure that we will be notifying everybody, not only through Facebook, through the Austin Area MLK Association, but also through your show about some of the great stuff that we are doing.
Well, one thing that's
within the community.
Stand by and remember when we see you up here, then that's when we start talking.
okay.